Good morning, Alex and friends. I'm Grace. Today is Friday, July 4th, 2025, and you're listening to Alex's News. The weather in Riverside today is looking warm, with a high of 89.2 degrees and a low of 63.7. It's a beautiful day to celebrate Independence Day here in the United States. Coming up, we'll explore why a new domestic bill from the Trump administration is facing such widespread opposition. And later, we'll look into the reasons behind Julio CÃ Chavez Jr.'s current deportation proceedings. All this and more coming up on Alex's News. Stay tuned. We begin this morning with a seismic shift in American domestic policy. President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act officially became law today, on July 4, 2025, marking a monumental legislative victory for the administration and congressional Republicans. Joining us now to break down this nearly 900-page piece of legislation is our senior political reporter, Ethan. Ethan, this bill had quite the journey through Congress, didn't it?
It did, Grace. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act passed the House 218 to 214 and the Senate 51 to 50, requiring Vice President J.D. Vance's tie-breaking vote after an overnight session yesterday, July 3rd. Democrats united in opposition but couldn't prevent its passage, utilizing budget reconciliation to bypass the typical 60-vote Senate threshold, as reported by NBC Boston and CBS News.
A true nail-biter. But it's also sparked debate over its fiscal impact. There's a massive discrepancy. Can you shed light on this fiscal frenzy?
Grace, the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, or CBO, estimates it increases federal deficits by nearly $3.3 trillion to $3.4 trillion over the next decade. Conversely, Senate Republicans claim it reduces deficits by almost $500 billion. This nearly $4 trillion discrepancy stems from differing accounting methods. The CBO uses a current law baseline, assuming temporary tax cuts expire. Republicans use a current policy baseline, assuming they're extended, not scoring them as new costs. Critics label this an accounting gimmick, according to CBS News. It truly makes a tax difference.
An accounting gimmick indeed. What are the key tax changes for American taxpayers?
The bill makes most existing Trump-era tax rates and brackets permanent, extending individual tax provisions from the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act set to expire at the end of 2025. It also permanently increases the estate and gift tax lifetime exclusion.
And any new provisions?
Yes, Grace. According to NBC Boston and CBS News, the child tax credit permanently increases from $2,000 to $2,200 starting this year. The state and local tax, or SALT, deduction cap quadruples from $10,000 to $40,000 for 5 years. The CBO projects the wealthiest households would see a $12,000 annual increase, while the poorest would incur $1,600 in annual costs due to other program reductions.
Beyond taxes, what about border security and social safety net programs?
The bill allocates about $350 billion for border security and national defense, including $46.5 billion for U.S.-Mexico border wall construction and funds for 10,000 new immigration and customs enforcement, or ICE, officers. For social safety nets like Medicaid and SNAP, new 80-hour-a-month work requirements are imposed for many adults, including older people up to age 65. The CBO estimates these changes would result in 11.8 million more Americans becoming uninsured by 2034 and 3 million more losing food stamps, according to CBS News.
A complex mix. And I hear this bill also targets clean energy initiatives?
That's right, Grace. It dramatically rolls back tax breaks for clean energy projects. For example, the tax break for electric vehicles will now expire on September 30th, 2025. That's just 88 days from now. This is a significant acceleration from its previous 2032 expiration.
So a clear shift. What other Republican priorities found their way in?
Grace, it's a treasure trove. It allocates $40 million for Trump's National Garden of American Heroes and eliminates a $200 tax on gun silencers. Crucially, it increases the nation's debt limit by $5 trillion, addressing a potential mid-July default, as detailed by CBS News.
And how did such diverse provisions make it through, given the Senate's Byrd Rule, which prevents extraneous items? It sounds like a budget that's a bit bird-brained.
That's an excellent point, Grace. The Byrd Rule prevents provisions without a direct and substantial impact on federal spending or revenues from being included in reconciliation bills. The Senate Parliamentarian Rules. While many provisions have budgetary impacts, their primary purpose can be seen as policy change. The removal of provisions like the ban on gender transition services highlights the Byrd Rule's power.
Fascinating insight, Ethan. This One Big Beautiful Bill Act truly represents a significant legislative victory, fundamentally altering so many aspects of our nation. Thank you for making such a comprehensive and complex piece of legislation so clear for us this morning.
My pleasure, Grace.
We've been discussing the new One Big Beautiful Bill Act that became law today. This expansive legislation, as reported by NBC Boston and CBS News, has reshaped the nation's tax code, immigration policy, social safety net, and environmental initiatives, with long-term fiscal implications that are already sparking intense political contention. We'll be keeping a close eye on its impact. We'll be right back after this break with more of your morning news. Welcome back, everyone. We have a compelling and intricate story developing out of Los Angeles involving a familiar name in the boxing world. Just days after his recent boxing match, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the 39-year-old son of the legendary Julio Cesar Chavez, was reportedly arrested by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE. Our reporter Chloe has been following this high-profile case. Chloe, this arrest certainly packs a punch. What are the initial details and serious allegations?
It does, Grace. According to PBS News, Yahoo Sports, and LAist, Chavez Jr. was detained by federal agents in Studio City on July 2, 2025, and is being processed for expedited removal. The Department of Homeland Security confirmed he entered legally on a B-2 tourist visa in August 2023, which expired in February 2024. Beyond the overstay, officials allege he submitted fraudulent statements on a permanent residency application in April 2024. DHS has labeled him an egregious public safety threat, and U.S. federal officials believe Chavez Jr. is an affiliate of the Sinaloa cartel. There's also an active Mexican arrest warrant from March 2023 for alleged organized crime and firearms trafficking.
Those are incredibly serious accusations. There were conflicting reports about this arrest initially. Can you clarify that for our viewers?
Yes, Grace. While one report called the claims unfounded speculation, the overwhelming consensus from major outlets like AP News, the Los Angeles Times, Yahoo News, and CBC has independently verified Chavez Jr.'s arrest by ICE, citing federal officials. It is a confirmed arrest.
Good to have that cleared up. Unfortunately, Chavez Jr. has a history of legal troubles. How does this recent arrest connect with his past?
His legal history is complex, Grace. He's battled addiction with a 2012 drunk driving conviction in Los Angeles, according to Yahoo Sports. More recently, in January 2024, he was arrested on gun charges for allegedly possessing 2 AR-style ghost rifles, which are untraceable firearms. That case is pending. He was released on bond to attend drug treatment. This Monday, July 7, 2025, just 3 days from now, he has a court appearance to update his progress in that program, as reported by PBS News.
So, despite his record and being flagged as a public safety threat, how was he allowed back into the U.S. in the first place? That's quite a mystery.
It is puzzling, Grace. USCIS flagged him to ICE in December 2024 as a public safety threat, reported by Yahoo Sports. Yet he returned January 4, 2025, without a visa, stemming from an internal flag that noted he wasn't an immigration enforcement priority, with some sources suggesting discretionary parole. the determination he was illegally present due to fraudulent statements on his residency application was made just a day before his fight, on June 27, 2025.
And his marriage to Frida Munoz is crucial, especially with alleged cartel ties. What's her connection to this story?
Frida Munoz has a direct connection to Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, Grace. She was previously married to Edgar Guzman Lopez, El Chapo's deceased son, as detailed by PBS News. Edgar was tragically murdered in May 2008. Munoz later married Chavez Jr., and he has acknowledged acquaintance with Ovidio Guzman, another of El Chapo's sons, whom he considers his daughter's uncle.
How have Chavez Jr.'s legal team and family reacted to these very serious allegations?
His attorney, Michael Goldstein, has vehemently denied the allegations, calling them outrageous and stating the arrest was designed to terrorize the community, according to PBS News and LAist. His family expresses full confidence in his innocence. Conversely, the Trump administration, through DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, has stated, quote, "No one is above the law," and that cartel affiliates in the U.S. would face consequences, as reported by LAist.
Chloe, what about Chavez Jr. himself? Did he anticipate something like this, and what's the broader context of immigration enforcement right now?
He did, Grace. In a pre-fight interview with the Los Angeles Times, Chavez Jr. had expressed fears of deportation and criticized immigration arrest, quote, violence. His arrest comes amid heightened Southern California immigration enforcement. Public opinion in Mexico is mixed, despite challenges he recently claimed to be clean. Now, his future is in the hands of the U.S. federal immigration system, with potential deportation to Mexico, where he reportedly faces additional serious criminal charges.
It sounds like Chavez Jr. isn't out of the woods yet, and this situation has many more rounds to go. Thank you, Chloe, for breaking down this very complex story for us. We appreciate your diligent reporting.
And Grace, for our viewers, this information comes from comprehensive reporting by PBS News, Yahoo Sports, LAist, AP News, Los Angeles Times, and CBC.
Here are some other headlines. In Gaza, Palestinian health authorities report a devastating 24 hours, with a series of Israeli airstrikes and shootings killing at least 94 people. The violence sheds a harsh light on the dire humanitarian crisis, as 45 of those killed were civilians simply waiting for desperately needed food and supplies. Witnesses report Israeli forces have frequently opened fire on crowds at aid sites run by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, a recently established American organization. Since that organization began its work in May, over 500 Palestinians have been killed near its distribution points. The Israeli military maintains its forces fire warning shots or at individuals who approach them in a threatening manner. Other strikes in the last day hit a school sheltering displaced families, killing 15, and a tent camp in Khan Yunis, where 13 members of a single family lost their lives. The events have drawn sharp condemnation, with Amnesty International accusing Israel of using starvation as a weapon of war. In a move that is anything but demilitarized, a North Korean man has successfully crossed the heavily fortified border into South Korea. The unarmed civilian was detected in the early hours of Thursday, prompting a tense, 20-hour operation by the South Korean military to safely guide him out of the treacherous, mine-strewn zone. He is now in custody and being questioned. Crossings of the DMZ are exceedingly rare, with most defectors opting for a less perilous route through China. This daring dash comes as South Korea's new president looks to cross the aisle for a more diplomatic approach with the North. The world of football is in mourning today following the tragic deaths of Liverpool forward Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva. Jota, 28, and Silva, 25, were killed when the Lamborghini they were traveling in crashed and caught fire on a highway in northwestern Spain. Authorities suspect a tire blowout during an overtake may have caused the accident. The news is especially heartbreaking, as Jota had married his long-term partner just 10 days ago and was a father of 3. His brother was also a professional footballer. Liverpool Football Club has opened a book of condolence at Anfield as tributes pour in from across the globe. Hollywood is mourning the loss of a quintessential tough guy, Michael Madsen, who has died at the age of 67. Known for playing unforgettable characters who lived on the edge, the actor's own final scene came peacefully at his Malibu home from cardiac arrest. Madsen's breakout role as the sadistic Mr. Blonde in Reservoir Dogs launched a long collaboration with director Quentin Tarantino. His career spanned over 300 film and TV roles, including Thelma and Louise and Free Willy. In a statement, his sister, actress Virginia Madsen, described him as thunder and velvet, mischief wrapped in tenderness. And it seems the firework has fizzled out for one of Hollywood's biggest power couples. Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom have officially called off their engagement, ending their 6-year fellowship. In a joint statement, the pair confirmed they are shifting their focus to co-parenting their daughter, Daisy Dove. Their romance, which began over a stolen burger at the Golden Globes, included a grand helicopter proposal. But their wedding plans were ultimately grounded by the pandemic. That's all we have for now. Today's episode was made by Alexander King with Claude Sonnet 4.0, Gemini Pro 2.5, Gemini Flash 2.5, and Google Cloud Text-to-Speech. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, Alex.